What's going on, people? This is Shok, and here is a recap slash review of the Smash Direct that happened today. And pretty much, it's probably the best Direct Nintendo has ever had. And I'm not talking about Directs where something is, like game specific. I'm talking about any Direct, period. Like, the only Direct close to this one was the January 2013 Direct, but this Direct came very close. If not, I would say it's probably better, but maybe that's just because you guys know me. I'm huge on Smash, I'm a huge Smash fanatic, but the Direct was great. The Direct was great. Now, it started off very disappointing for the first announcement, but after that first initial disappointment, it was just consistently good. Just awesome footage, awesome announcements, awesome just everything. It was a great Direct. Now, I did write all these things down. I had it on my notepad on my PC, but I accidentally closed it out without saving it. So I'm just going off the top of my head. If I miss something, I'll put it in the annotation or in the description or something. But let's get the bad thing, because that's all it was. It was one bad thing about that Direct. Let's get the bad news out the way, the disappointment out the way. The 3DS version is launching in summer 2014. And the Wii U version is launching winter 2014. It just pains me to freaking say that. It really does, because I wanted the opposite thing to happen. I was thinking, oh, maybe the Wii U version is going to come out first, and then the 3DS version was going to come out. I thought that's what maybe that whole Namco hiring for Smash in 2015 was about. But it seems that Nintendo thinks that the 3DS version is more important now. Well, I won't necessarily say that. I'm not going to sit here and say that is entirely a nonsensical thing, because it does make sense and it doesn't. And the reason why I say it does make sense is because the 3DS is of course an easier system to develop for. And Sakurai himself and a lot of Project Sora members, they were working on Kid Icarus. They haven't worked on a Wii U title yet. So it could have been that, the 3DS development was just that much faster than the Wii U's development. You see what I'm saying? But honestly, in hindsight, if I was Sakurai, I would have decided like, hey, let's kind of hold off on 3DS version or work on it slowly. Take some more people or more effort that are put towards 3DS, put it to the Wii U version, try to get that out faster. And also understand, the concept of Smash coming out too close to Mario Kart. You don't want those games out too close. It'll be better to space those two Megatons out, but I think that spacing just a little bit too much. But I don't know exactly what Nintendo's plan is, so I'm not going to say that it's completely stupid, but I still will say that I still think it should have been the other way around. That game should be coming out a lot sooner. And I swear to God, Nintendo, if you delay that into 2015, Molotovs. That's all I'm going to say. Molotovs, that's it. I ain't saying nothing, just Molotovs. I like Molotovs. But outside of that, to all the great stuff, I don't even know where to start. I really wish I had went back and watched it and written everything down, but it was just a bunch of great stuff. He showed, he showcased all these stages, both on the 3DS and Wii U version. The 3DS stages I've noticed are kind of more dynamic and kind of more fun and less straight up, while the Wii U stages are a lot more straight up and less dynamic. And that doesn't mean that they're worse or anything, but I just noticed the 3DS version has stages that were it had more stages that were side scrolling and things of that nature, really tall vertically or really wide horizontally, things of that nature, a bunch of stage hazards and stuff like that. A lot more, they look for fun, while the Wii U versions are more kind of focused and concise. You know what I mean? They showed off a bunch of items. All the items look great. They showed off a new item, which was the fire bar, which is those things from Super Mario Bros. Back in the day. And basically, when you hit somebody with it, each time you hit somebody with the fire bar, one of the little fireballs would go away. I thought that was pretty cool. And Mario was going in on Link's ass with that fire bar too. Holy crap. But the online, let's get to the online. The online looks great. And they didn't necessarily show the gameplay of it too much. What I mean by it looks great was by I'm talking about the details that Sakurai gave and some of the things that we saw. But my main reason why I'm excited for the online is because Sakurai did exactly what I wanted him to do with as regarding, you know, the competitive side of things. And if you guys watched my video, you know, Smash Bros. 4 online features I would like to see, this was exactly one of the things I wanted to see. But basically, there will be, for randoms, when you're searching for a game for randoms, there will be two search types. There will be for fun, which is pretty much going to be any stages, you know, items on, whatever, right? And then there's going to be a mode that's called for glory. And basically with for glory, it's going to have only Final Destination or the Final Destination versions of all the other stages. Speaking of which, every stage is going to have pretty much a Final Destination version where pretty much all the stage hazards are removed. Now, this was great. This was really great, but then I noticed that this FD mode also takes away these stages' platforms. So, you know, I'm really appreciative for Sakurai for, you know, throwing the competitive, you know, Smash players a bone. You know, oh, let's make a FD version of every stage so everybody doesn't have to just stay with Final Destination. But I think he overlooked the fact that, you know, competitive players love platforms. You know, we allow platforms. Platform stages are very common, you know, competitive Smash, like Fountain of Dreams, you know, Battlefield, of course, you know, Smashville. Platforms are fine. So you can put those platforms back, Sakurai. Just get rid of any stage hazard kind of thing. But platforms don't really count as stage hazards. They're not stage hazards at all. But yeah, in the For Glory mode, you could do 1v1 battles. Thank you. And it's also going to track your wins and your losses. So pretty much it's going to be ranked matches where you can do 1v1. You can do free-for-all as well. You know, it will be four players, but it's also possible to search for 1v1 matches. That is awesome. I'm going to be doing that all day, every day, live streaming that. So y'all can watch me owning some scrubs online on that. That is awesome. Thank you, Sakurai, for that. And speaking of Final Destination, the new Final Destination looks so sick. Like, I was always sitting there thinking about stuff, you know, how they're going to talk Brawl's Final Destination look pretty epic, whatever. Smash 4 beats the living crap out of Brawl's Final Destination. Like, that is epic. Freaking sun crashing to the earth and stuff. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, what else? There's something I'm missing about the online. Oh yeah, there's going to be, whatchamacallit, pretty much constant quizzes for, you know, bad players online. Not bad as in they suck, but if somebody's, you know, inactive or, you know, they rage quit a lot or whatever, you know, he said they're going to put certain things in place to kind of reduce those kinds of things. That's great. I appreciate that. But overall, he was just pretty much talking about that, you know, the Smash 4's online is going to be better than Brawl's. Pretty much. That's pretty much how you can sum it all up. He also mentioned how with private games, you can set the settings however you want. That was actually missing from Brawl. If I remember correctly, I hadn't played Brawl online in a long time, but if I remember, Brawl, even with friends, was limited to just, you could either choose stock or time, and then items off or on. I don't think you could turn certain things on or off. I don't recall. I haven't played Brawl online in a long time, so correct me if I'm wrong on that. But the online, so far, it sounds like it's shaping up to be really good. Going to the 3DS version, the 3DS version will have online as well, by the way. There's going to be this thing called Smash Run, which is kind of like, it's not Subspace Emissary, but it's pretty much this huge side-scrolling arena. And there's also, you know, some verticality to it too, where you go around collecting power-ups and stuff. And that lasts 5 minutes. And this also supports 4 players, and it's also online, which is awesome. But it's pretty much this mode where you're on this huge-ass map. And you go around fighting enemies as well as the other players themselves. And you collect a bunch of power-ups. And after the 5-minute mark is over, you take the power-ups, your character's stats, and you go into an actual standard match with those stats, you know. I thought that was pretty damn amazing. I would love for that to come to the Wii U version, but maybe the Wii U version is getting its own kind of like mode, you know, that's just as good or, you know, even better. But it sounded really fun. If you guys played Kirby Air Ride back on the GameCube, it's basically like, you know, the city mode, you know. So you get on this huge map, you know, fight through enemies and stuff, you collect all these power-ups, you know, speed increase, strength increase, special attack increase, whatever, you know. And if you collect all this stuff, you go into a match and you can jump, you know, crazy high. Your moves are a bunch stronger, you know. I think that's really fun. I think that's a really cool idea. I feel like there's something else I'm missing. That's about the 3DS version exclusively, but I don't think so. Also, you know, he kind of showcased the I forgot his name. The yellow thing from Mega Man. I can't believe I forgot his name, but he's on the Dr. Wily stage. He also showcased that, and then afterwards, you know, he said something pretty interesting. You know, he said, you know, other boss characters will be making appearances on other stages as well. Then he showed, you know, Ridley Shadow. I thought that was pretty funny. But no, really guys, I really don't care that much if he was a playable character or not. I'm just rubbing it in faces because the sensitivity. You know, that's pretty much all it boils down to. Now, you guys know me. I've said before that I'd rather have Ridley in Smash than Mii's. But you don't see me getting on the Mii fan base as much because the Mii fan base isn't as sensitive, you know. I'm trolling. I'll be honest. I'm trolling. Let's say Ridley was announced in Smash and he's a small bastardized version of him. I'll just shrug and just play the game and enjoy it. You see what I mean? But I just do what I do because the Ridley fan base is just very passionate about Ridley, and it's just funny to see them get mad over a video game character and people who don't want him in there. You know, it's not that serious, people. Chillax. But yeah. He showed a bunch of he showcased some things about old characters, like Lucario, you know, Zelda. Oh, by the way, transformations no longer exist when Samus uses her Final Smash. She stays Power Suit Samus. When Zelda uses down B, she has her own move now. She has this what was it called? Phantom Knight. This knight comes out and like slashes in front of her. I actually kind of like that change. I actually kind of like it because every single time I play Sheik and Zelda, and I wanted to use, you know, that character I was using at the time, I always like, man, you know, I wish I could have had the down B. I wish I could have a down B, you know, for another move instead of just transforming. And Sakurai did that, so I actually like that change. I like the fact that Power Suit Samus doesn't actually turn to Zero Suit anymore, because sometimes I want to use Samus, sometimes I want to use Zero Suit. If I get a Smash Ball, you know, I don't want to be forced to switch to that character. So I actually like that change. Speaking of Zero Suit Samus was confirmed, and Sakurai was such a goddamn troll with this, because at first, after he showed Samus do her final smash and she didn't transform to Zero Suit, and he was like, oh, I'm sad to announce that Zero Suit will not be coming back in Smash 4. Like, he showed a picture of her, the picture was like graying out, and I was like, no fucking way, no, like, I need Samus, because Zero Suit Samus was my main in Brawl, right, and she's my secondary in Project M right now. I'm looking to replace her, but, you know, you guys know me, I'm a huge Metroid fan. I love Samus, you know, period in general, but yeah, she was my main in Brawl. So I definitely wanted to see her come back in Smash 4. So when he was joking, when he said she wouldn't be coming back, that killed me. And then he was like, just joking, here she is. I was like, oh my god, thank god. But Zero Suit's coming back. She looks dope. I really like her redesign. He said he was focusing on making her, you know, like stronger and stuff. I like the changes. She's a lot more like, you know, kick oriented and stuff. I like what they're doing with her. She has these like jet boots now and stuff. It's pretty cool. I like Zero Suit. God, I just know there's going to be some things that I'm missing. I just know it, because like I said, I'm saying this off the top of my head. Final smashes. Mega Lucario was confirmed for a final smash for Lucario. Everybody could have expected that though. Of course, he showed Gigamac again. He showed Rosalina's final smash, where this grand star comes out and shoots a bunch of like small stars. That looked pretty cool. You know, he detailed a lot of the movesets, a lot of these changes that are being made to these already, you know, existing characters, these returning characters or whatever. It was just really good. Like, this direct had everything I wanted in it. New characters, returning characters, changes to those characters, game modes, game types, online, all of it was there. The only thing missing was my nigga, Captain Falcon. I needed to see Captain Falcon. I really did. But yeah, moving on. I'm missing somebody. Who am I missing? There's another returning. Oh yeah, Sheik is back. That's who it was. He also showed Sheik. Of course, like I said, you know, the transforming characters don't transform anymore, so she has her own down B of her own, which is this like, you know, like grenade on the string thing. You could like throw out the grenade and then pull the string and, you know, make it explode or whatever. It looked really cool. It looked like it could really be used well for combos. The game itself, one thing I noticed during all that gameplay was that there's a lot more hit stun. There was more hit stun than in Brawl. Well, I shouldn't even say more, because Brawl had like no hit stun, but there is hit stun in this game. Hallelujah. True combos. True. are actually going to be possible in this game, because this game looks like it actually has hit stun. And during the whole footages, you know, during all the footage, you know, that he was showing combos the whole time, so it looks great. Oh, sure, it's not Melee. Sure, it doesn't really even look like Project M, but one thing is for sure, it looks a whole hell of a lot better than Brawl. That's for sure. There's hit stun. It's, you know, it looks faster than Brawl. I wouldn't say like, oh, so much faster, but it's obviously, you know, faster than Brawl. It's looking great from a gameplay standpoint. Lil Mac looks great. You know, he detailed him again, once again, emphasized how he's weak in the air but strong as hell on the ground. And then we kind of came to the end where he announced Charizard, which was kind of random and out of the blue. I really don't care about the Pokemon characters that much, but I was like, oh, you know, Charizard, you know, it's nice to see him back. It kind of makes sense since, you know, the whole Mega Evolution thing with X and Y. There's kind of more of an emphasis put back on him, you know, with X and Y. And there was also Greninja announced. Now, I know a lot of you guys are excited for that, and you know, I'm glad you guys are happy. I'm glad you guys got a character you wanted, but me personally, I don't give two shits about Greninja. I think Greninja is some mainstream bullshit. That's all everybody wanted to choose in X and Y. I chose Chespin, because I'm original. I'm original, and I do not go with the flow. I don't care about what society thinks, so I chose Chespin, but everybody's like, oh, Greninja, Greninja. I'm just like, yeah, you know, it's cool, whatever, you know. Cool newcomer. Didn't expect it at all. I do think that he is taking up a slot that could go towards a more deserving character, but yeah, he's cool. I really don't care about that. As long as the character's moveset is great, you know, and they're fun to play, you know, I'll be down for their inclusion, you know, plain and simple. So yeah, there has to be some things I'm missing, but there was just a lot of good, just great stuff in there. I did upload a live reaction video to this channel because I did live stream of the Direct, and I also have the link to the actual Direct itself if you don't want to, you know, see my live reaction of me talking over and stuff. I'll link that down below in the description as well. But it was a really damn good Direct, guys. This is one of the best Directs Nintendo has ever had, period. And I would have to say that the thing I'm most excited for is how, you know, Sakurai, he seems to, you know, actually be caring about, you know, the competitive smashers, you know. It really seems like he's, you know, he's caring. He's throwing us bones, you know. He's putting things in there for us, you know. Oh, one important thing I almost forgot to mention. The whole character customization he talked about back at E3, it's pretty much exactly what I thought it was going to be. Basically, he kind of showcased this with Mario's Fireball. You could use default Fireball, you know, with how it acts in, you know, the older Smashes where it just goes, you know, like up and down like that. Or you could change it to where it's this one big Fireball that's stronger but moves slowly. Or you could change it to like this rapid fire Fireball mode where it goes straight. So he kind of pretty much showed us what he meant by the character customization. And pretty much what he's doing with that is, with the, I think, based off what he showed, it's just going to be with the character's special moves. I don't think it's going to do anything with the A button moves. But based off what I can tell, I think what it is we're going to be able to change the behaviors of the special moves for our characters. I think that's pretty awesome. Now, he did say that these things are going to be limited to friend matches only online, and then of course offline matches. But as far as random, there's just going to be, you know, the default, you know, behaviors for those characters, you know, moves and stuff. But friends matches and offline, you're going to be able to customize certain behaviors and aspects of your character's moves. I think that's awesome. I think that's great. That's, you know, mixing up the formula really well. The only question I have is, you know, will these customizations be accepted in, you know, tournaments? You know, that'll be kind of interesting to see how that kind of plays out. But yeah, and also, you know, he showed a Little Mac alternate costume. You know, he's doing the whole alternate costume thing. He's doing a lot of, you know, Project M, you know, kind of like type things. You know, I think it's pretty cool. You know, I had lost faith in Sakurai for a while there. You know, I was thinking that Smash, I mean, I was always excited for Smash 4, and I always knew it was going to be better than Brawl. Really can't get worse than Brawl. But I didn't think it'd be this good. Like, I am excited, I'm pumped, I'm back to that Brawl level hype we had back before Brawl released, you know. The game looks amazing, both versions, they seem to be like just content packed. And while the Wii U version is coming out way in the winter 2014, Nintendo did say numerous times, even before today, you know, that it was going to come out this year. So I think they're dead set on it coming out in December or maybe late November or whatever. But at least this means that they have plenty of time to refine it, you know, polish it, tons of content and all this stuff. You know, so there is an upside to it. I just don't think, I don't know. It can have a positive effect, it can have a negative effect. Tons of people were already talking about, you know, they're going to buy the 3DS version. They don't need a Wii U, you know, for Smash. And I think this decision they're doing kind of, you know, justifies and reinforces that whole mindset that people have. Like, oh, I don't need a Wii U for Smash. I'll just get the 3DS version. 3DS version is going to be coming out like, you know, 4 months before the Wii U version. So like, hey, yeah, now they're definitely just going to get the 3DS version, you know? But like I said before, I think anybody with common sense and anybody who likes to play with friends, you know, they're going to get a Wii U. They're going to get the Wii U version because, you know, the whole, you know, competitive thing. Well, you're going to tell your friends to bring their 4 3DSs over. You guys going to play on the small. No. You know, you want to play on the HD console version, you know, where it's on the big screen and stuff, you know, where the actual tournament's going to be played. There's not going to be 3DS tournaments like that. You know, that's not going to, well, who knows? Who knows? It might be some side small stuff, but as far as, you know, Evo and Apex, you know, big tournaments like that, no, they're not going to be doing 3DS. But yeah, that's all the highlights I can remember. The game looks great. There is tons of information. This was a damn good Direct. I'd give this Direct like a 9.5 out of 10. It was amazing. But that's this video, y'all. Thanks for watching. I'll see you guys later.